Please welcome to the stage a young man in the know, Joe Wylie.
Have you ever finished a massive meal? The type of meal where it's eaten in seconds, only to feel a strange, nagging hunger just 20 minutes later? Or maybe you've had that specific late-night itch for fast food where your brain won't stop nagging until you're at the drive-thru window. I've been there, and for a while, I thought this was a me problem. I thought that I naturally lacked willpower or was just greedy. But after looking into the reason why, I was genuinely shocked, and I think you will be too. This isn't just a guilty pleasure snack. This issue is fundamentally reshaping our health, our culture, and even the future of our children. A specific type of food has slowly, almost invisibly, taken over our supermarket shelves and our lives. We call them ultra-processed foods, or UPFs, to make it sound complicated. Today, I want to talk to you, not as an expert, but as someone who has lived through the cycle of UPFs, how these foods impacted my life, and the small, sustainable changes I made to take my power back, and how you can too. Now, you might be asking, what exactly makes something ultra-processed? While the technical definition can be long-winded, I like to use what I call the kitchen test. If you look at the back of a packet of food and you see ingredients you wouldn't find in your own home kitchen, things like maltodextrin, high fructose corn syrup, soy protein isolate, or various emulsifiers, it's likely a UPF. Emulsifiers are extremely common, and they act as an industrial glue that holds fat and water together, so a product can sit with food on a shelf for 2 years without changing texture. You wouldn't cook with it at home, so why is it in our breads, our yogurts, and our cereals? When I first started learning about UPFs, I was reading a book called Ultra Processed People by Chris Van Took, which I recommend that you read too. I remember after reading the book, when I was at the supermarket, I was reading the labels of everything I usually bought. I must have looked completely crazy, standing in a bread aisle for 10 minutes, staring at a loaf of bread. But I was horrified. Even the healthy brown bread I was buying was packed with preservatives and flour treatment agents in order to make them taste better and trick you into addiction. We've reached a point where even our staples have become industrial products. But what do UPFs do to you? They don't just sit in your stomach. They mess with your internal wiring. These foods are designed to cause massive spikes in your blood sugar, giving you rapid energy as they hit your bloodstream, because they are often stripped of fiber and pre-digested by machines. However, this massive spike leads to an even greater dip, leading to a sudden drop in blood sugars, leading to you feeling tired and hungry again not long after. Let me give you an example. A specific Saturday last year, I was tired, and I didn't want to wait until dinner, which was a couple hours away. So I grabbed a meal from a very popular fast food chain. For about 5 minutes after eating, I felt amazing. I felt full. I even felt energized. But then the crash came. My blood sugar didn't just dip, it plummeted. Suddenly, I felt heavy, drained, and completely unable to focus. My brain, sensing this emergency, sent out a signal saying, I need energy. And what did I do? I went back to the same chain and bought another meal. I was in a loop. I wasn't eating because I was hungry. I was eating because the food I had just consumed effectively tricked my biology into thinking I was starving. That is the cycle UPFs create. They are engineered to be hyperpalatable, meaning they are engineered to trigger the brain's reward system, making it almost impossible to stop. The convenience trap. One of the hardest things to combat is the sheer convenience of these foods. Let's be honest, life is exhausting. When you get home after a long day, a microwave meal seems like a lifesaver. Heat, eat, done. No washing up, no chopping, no effort. It takes me back to when I was younger than I am now. I'd used to love... I used to love those ready-made spaghetti tubs. I'd watch them spin in the microwave like a hypnotic treat. I actually preferred them over the meals my mum lovingly cooked from scratch. Why? Because UPFs are designed to be soft. They require less chewing, which allows you to eat them faster, which in turn means your brain doesn't have time to register that you're full. So you end up eating more food than you need. And the food industry knows this. They target children with colourful packaging and pasta in the shapes of animals. They use pester power to ensure the cycle of UPF consumption starts before a child can even read a nutritional label. It's a marketing machine that's far more powerful than any individual's willpower. Let's look at countries like Spain or Italy, where obesity rates, while rising, tend to be lower than the UK or the US. When I visited Spain last year, the difference in the food culture was striking. A typical Spanish breakfast isn't a bowl of neon-colored cereal. It's often a piece of sourdough bread topped with a freshly grated tomato and a drizzle of olive oil served with a simple coffee. Compare that to the British norm of fruit-filled cereal bars, which contain very little fruit and concentrated juice. The difference isn't just about calories. It's about the quality of ingredients and the time taken to eat. In Spain, food is an event. In the UK, it's often just fuel we consume while looking at the screen. The myth of a quick fix. If there's one thing I want you to take away from my experience, it's this. Getting UPFs out of your diet isn't about one grand heroic change. It's not a 30-day detox or cleanse. Those often don't work because they aren't always sustainable. When I first tried to give up processed sugar, I failed miserably. Chocolate was my absolute weakness. I tried to quit, but because my house was still full of temptations and I hadn't changed my habits, I gave in within 48 hours. So I slowed down. I focused on adding rather than subtracting. I started by adding a handful of flaxseed in my cereal every day. I started trying to help cook just one extra meal a week with my parents from scratch. I even went on a bread making course. I have proof. Not only did I gain a new skill, but I realized that real bread, just flour, water, salt, and yeast, tastes infinitely better than the plastic wrapped stuff from the store. And because it has structure and fiber, one slice of it actually made me feel full. So, how do we start? We start slow and we are generous with ourselves. Eliminating UPFs all at once is like trying to learn a new language overnight. It's impossible and frustrating. Instead, start to look at your shopping basket. If you see a product with a list of ingredients longer than a short story, see if there's a simpler version. Learn how to make a basic pasta sauce. It's just tomatoes, garlic, and onions. It takes 10 minutes. Use these moments to spend time with your family or explore new cultures through their spices. The industry wants us to believe that cooking is a chore, and we don't have the time or the skill. But reclaiming our kitchen is the single most rebellious and healthy thing we can do. There is hope. As more of us become aware of what UPFs are doing to our bodies, companies are feeling the pressure to rethink their ingredients. But we shouldn't wait for them to change. We can change our own default settings right now. Cutting out UPFs isn't about being perfect. It's about being informed. It's about realizing that you aren't weak for wanting that fast food. You're just reacting to a product that was designed to make you want it. By choosing real, whole foods, you aren't just dieting. You're reclaiming your energy, your mood, and your health. So, next time you're in the supermarket, I challenge you. Pick up one thing you usually buy, read the label, and ask yourself, could I make this in my own kitchen? If the answer is no, maybe it's time to try something new. Thank you.